Dark rides are immersive themed attractions that I actually tend to prefer to most roller coasters. Dark rides are divided into numerous different categories, including ride genres as well as classic and modern. But in today's video, all of these are fair game as I'll be ranking the top 25 dark rides I've personally ridden. Mainly, this list is going to be loaded with Disney and Universal attractions in America. I must make a huge disclaimer that I have not ridden any dark rides outside of the country. Partially, that's why I'm making this list now, because I know I'll want to make a new one after I go to Europe next year. Additionally, take note that this list will only be including dark rides that are currently operating. Before we dive in, I'd like to kindly ask for you to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. My goal before the end of the year is to reach 10,000 subscribers, so if you could help make that a reality, it would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, let's get into the list. These are the top 25 dark rides I've ridden. Real quick, I wanted to give an honorable mention to Transformers the Ride at Universal Studios Hollywood and Florida for that matter. Mostly because I forgot they existed while I was making this list. But after giving it some thought, I think it's solidly the next best dark ride I've been on that isn't quite deserving of a top 25. Although I was never into Transformers, I really appreciate how this ride utilizes its technology and immerses you with its 3D screens. I really look forward to checking this one out next time I'm at either Universal Resort. Number 25, Emmet's Flying Adventure at Legoland, Florida. Kicking off this list is a flying theater style attraction that I was really impressed with. For context, you can also find this ride at Legoland, California, but I've only ridden it at this location, which is why that didn't get a mention. But this was much more enjoyable than I was expecting. Of course, the theme revolves around the Lego movie, so it's going to be more childish, but the theming was something you can appreciate no matter your age. The flying sensation felt very realistic, the smells were great, and there was a lot of hilarious moments on here too. This was absolutely the best attraction at Legoland, Florida, and it's also the best at Legoland, California as well. Number 24, Spaceship Earth at Epcot. This slow-moving Omnimover dark ride has more ride time than it knows what to do with, but what that does do is it enables quite the immersive experience. This is a relaxing, well-themed dark ride that pays homage to human evolution over time. Plus, what I love is that it never has a line, even though it's located at the front of the park. It's a ride that I'll always appreciate for what it's worth, but I'll happily look forward to its refurbishment in the near future. Number 23, Calico Mine Ride at Knott's Berry Farm. The park's first major attraction opened in 1960 and still holds up to this day. This dark ride has plenty of great theming, including the mining scenes that are very well done. It's also a nice change of pace in a park with many thrilling rides and coasters. I look at this attraction as a must-do every visit, and I think more of you guys should too. Number 22, Carousel of Progress at Magic Kingdom. It's almost hard to explain why I like this ride so much, but its concept is incredible. I love the idea of getting a glimpse into different time periods and seeing how much they compare to the life we live today. It's a brilliant idea that's been around for ages, and it's always receiving updates as time goes on. Even if it never has too much of a wait, Magic Kingdom better not remove this attraction. It is wholeheartedly one of the most memorable rides in the resort. Number 21, Skull Island Reign of Kong at Universal's Islands of Adventure. For most people, this dark ride mixing screens and animatronics would not make their list. But me personally, I was very impressed by Skull Island. I really don't know why it doesn't get more love. Sure, it uses mostly screens, but the screens are very well done. I love how it immerses you with the ride's feels. For example, if something climbs over the vehicle, you can actually feel the tram shaking. Plus, you've got to show some respect to that Kong animatronic at the end, which blew my mind from its sheer scale. Call me crazy, but this is one of the best dark rides at the Universal Orlando Resort. Number 20, Monster Mansion at Six Flags Over Georgia. When I thought of this video idea, one of the first rides I thought of was this one right here. Monster Mansion is one of the weirdest dark rides on this list, but it's also one of the most memorable. The way the theme takes a dramatic turn and gets dark so quickly is unlike what you see on most dark rides nowadays. Plus, the soundtracks are fantastic and the animatronics are horrifying in the best way possible. What is there not to love about Monster Mansion? Number 19, Timber Mountain Log Ride at Knott's Berry Farm. America's first ever log flume is also one of the best to this day. Even though it mostly classifies as a log ride, its dark ride sections are superb. The animatronics are great, both the quality and quantity, and the drops separating all the scenes are lots of fun. As much as I love the coasters at Knott's, Timber Mountain Log Ride is a ride that I'll probably rank above all of them except for one. It's really that good. Number 18, Haunted Mansion at Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. A few years back, I tell you I don't get the hype for this ride, but my most recent visits have had me gain a whole new appreciation for it. Haunted Mansion has an amazing timeless theme, great animatronics, and cool illusions too. The immersion and atmosphere are also unparalleled in most dark rides. The ride really does kind of feel haunted once you've done it a couple times, and I just absolutely can't wait to give this one another go, no matter the makeover. Number 17, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Talk about a sensory overload, because this ride is crazy. Although it was built in 1999, so not exactly recent, this thing is incredible. Its technology is amazing, its theming is great, and it does screens better than most dark rides out there. Plus, its effects are the cherry on top. That fire is so cool, and you can even feel some water. Honestly, I was so impressed by this ride, and I'd love to do it again next time I visit this park. Number 16, Pirates of the Caribbean at Magic Kingdom. The first iteration of Pirates of the Caribbean making this list is far shorter than its California counterpart. But with that being said, the Florida version does still keep the best parts of that one, and thus it's still a wonderful work of art. I love all the animatronics, the best scenes are amazing, and the only reason it isn't higher is because it's short, as I said. That length to me takes away from much of the immersion that is created otherwise. I still love the ride, but it's not as good as it could be, and there's another attraction later on the list that proves that. Number 15, Navi River Journey at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I'm tempted to put this ride higher despite its somewhat mixed reputation online. For some reason, this boat ride gets some flack for being short and also for only having one animatronic. But I think people are being way too critical because this is one of the most beautiful rides in the world. Plus, its one animatronic is the most impressive I've ever seen. I was really impressed by Navi River Journey, and I don't think it should be overshadowed that much in this park. Number 14, Soarin' Around the World at Disney's California Adventure and Epcot. Located at numerous Disney theme parks, this flying theater ride is arguably the best of its ride type in the world. The sights are beautiful, the soundtracks are emotional, the smells are incredible, and the sense of flight is superb. I do still like the old Soarin' over California better, but I have to give this one credit where credit is due. It's still a gorgeous ride, and I can never get enough of it. Number 13, Test Track at Epcot. My favorite ride at this park really caught me by surprise. Despite Test Track being the fastest ride in all of Walt Disney World, I never had heard too much of it. And when I did hear about it, it was mostly people saying it's a knockoff Radiator Springs Racers. To me, the only thing similar is the ride technology. I think Test Track really holds up as an excellent ride considering its theme and blistering speeds. Note that I haven't ridden Ratatouille yet, but Test Track is currently my favorite attraction at all of Epcot. Number 12, Splash Mountain at Magic Kingdom. This flume/boat ride was noticeably less impressive than its California counterpart. It is still my favorite ride at Florida's Castle Park, but not by a landslide as expected. I think this one is a bit too slow at times, the soundtrack is tweaked making it not as great, and I don't know, the vibe just isn't there. But I will counteract these critiques by saying everything else that makes the other Splash Mountain great, like the animatronics, are also very impressive here. I just wasn't a fan of how this one felt more like a boat ride than a log flume, but maybe that's just me. Still a great ride. Number 11, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout at Disney's California Adventure. The renovation of the original Tower of Terror luckily turned out to be almost as great of a ride. This one has a completely different mood to it, as it's not dark and instead feels more upbeat and like a party if anything. The drop sequence on this ride is great and the airtime is fantastic. Plus, I love the dark ride intermissions that also add a lot to the experience. I could see an argument for this being your favorite ride at California Adventure, it's really that good. Number 10, Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland. We talked about the Pirates at Florida and how that one isn't as immersive or lengthy as it should be. What I was referring to as a better iteration is this one right here. The original at Disneyland feels like you've been transported into another world with a huge quantity and quality of animatronics. Since I already talked a little bit about this ride beforehand, I don't have too much to say here, but this is the best version of Pirates in the United States. Number 9, Twilight Zone Tower of Terror at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Would you look at that? Disney decided to make the right choice by leaving the Florida version of Tower of Terror the way it is. This one has an incredible timeless theme with an equally as amazing drop sequence and airtime. What I also love about it is there's more of a noticeable emphasis on dark ride. Heck, before the drops even begin, you have a whole dark ride section already. Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't do that at all. So what can I say? I prefer the original over the makeover, so hopefully Disney doesn't touch the original haunted hotel in Florida anytime soon. Number 8, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run at Disneyland and Disney's Hollywood Studios. For this to be number 8 on this list, I'm looking at the pilot position in particular. Getting to fly the Millennium Falcon with a friend or family member is loads of fun. Plus, one can't disagree that it's cool that you get to make the jump to light speed. Otherwise, this ride is very well themed, very interactive, and the Falcon looks totally realistic. This was the perfect attraction to hold us over before a later ride in Galaxy's Edge opened that shall not yet be mentioned. Number 7, Radiator Springs Racers at Disney's California Adventure. The anchoring attraction at Carousel is also one of the most visually impressive rides in the world. It is perfectly intertwined with jaw-dropping rockwork and waterfalls that honestly make it seem completely real. Plus, it's got an awesome dark ride section and racing element to it to fit in with the theme. This was the perfect investment for this park and a big reason why tourists decide to visit Disneyland's second gate park. Number 6, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This trackless dark ride does everything its technology allows for and uses it to its fullest potential. Its theming is amazing, I love the plotline, the cartoony shenanigans are hilarious, and I don't know, this ride is just an acid trip from start to end. It's also a very long ride too, so it fills in all gaps you could possibly want it to fill. For that reason, Mickey and Minnie's is a top 3 ride for me at Walt Disney World. Number 5, Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland. This ride is absolutely incredible and has always been one of my favorite rides anywhere. The sheer scale of the theming demands your attention, the musical scores fit perfect, and the abrupt moments are surprisingly intense. This is an imposing ride once you're on it with an amazing beginning, middle, and end. What else can you really say about Indiana Jones? This ride is just incredible. Number 4, Splash Mountain at Disneyland. My favorite water ride in the world is also part dark ride. Compared to the iteration at Disney World in Florida, this one stays true to itself the whole time. I love how it's single file, so it feels like a legitimate log flume, its drops are better that way, and you just go a bit quicker through the course. And to me, I feel like it just makes the ride experience more complete. Splash Mountain also has one of the best and most iconic soundtracks in the world to pair with its theming and an infinite amount of animatronics. So I think you can clearly see by this description that I'm not going to be too happy with the re-theme taking place in the future. But as it is right now, Splash Mountain is always a must ride when I'm at Disneyland. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey at Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal's Islands of Adventure. The best dark ride at any Universal park can be found at 2 different locations in America alongside Japan and China. Yet despite it being cloned this much, it amazes me how they managed to build such a perfectly well-rounded dark ride. This attraction has otherworldly technology that feeds an amazing immersion. The combination of screens, animatronic, and everything in between is all done to the perfect extent, which is why I think this is one of the best dark rides in the world no matter where you ride it. Number 2, Avatar Flight of Passage at Disney's Animal Kingdom. The second best ride I've ever ridden was inches away from taking the top spot. This attraction is one of the most beautiful experiences you'll ever encounter, paired with a realistic flying sensation taken to the next level. It basically does everything Soarin' does well and beefs it up by 100. The smells are incredible, you actually feel water when you fly in your waves and stuff, and the attraction is immaculate. You can even legitimately feel the banshee beneath your feet. More so than any other ride I've been on, Flight of Passage feels like you're on another planet. This ride is a perfect 10 out of 10 ride, and along with the number 1 spot on this list, is better than any roller coaster I've ever ridden. Number 1, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance at Disneyland and Disney's Hollywood Studios. I've struggled to find a place to begin in past videos, and I'm struggling now as well. Rise of the Resistance is the most advanced dark ride ever built, and it's really clear when you ride it. It's got the most incredible pieces of theming, fantastic plotline, amazing music, and some of Disney's best animatronics and god-tier pre-shows. What really makes this ride for me is the experience begins right when you enter the queue line. Every pre-show on Rise of the Resistance feels like an attraction in itself, but all it's really doing is building up a story for what you're about to embark on. Then the ride begins, and it's a sensory overload from start to end. Your perception of what's real and what isn't is completely twisted because it just feels like you're there on the side of the Resistance. If you haven't been on this thing before, put in some effort into doing so. Even if you're only really into thrill rides and roller coasters, Rise of the Resistance is still an attraction you will not want to miss. So with that, these were the top 25 dark rides I've ridden as of this video's recording. I hope you all enjoyed today's content, and I hope you can agree with the majority of placements on this list. Also, I'd love to hear what your favorite dark rides are in the comment section below. Additionally, if you could do me the favor of liking and subscribing to the channel as I said, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys.